Okay, everybody, I'm Mr. Auerbach, and I am here to help you through the Wale ancestry molecular evolution activity. And the whole idea here is that we're going to be looking at DNA sequences for animals that are related to whales. And I'm going to leave it to you to read the specifics of the directions about mutation. But the activity involves comparing two DNA sequences, and that's what this GIF is about. In this case, we're comparing the right whale to the hippo. And what's going on here is that this is showing how you're going to use this little rectangle that I've provided on every slide to compare the two DNA sequences. It's just to make sure that they stay lined up. And so you can see in the first one, they both are letter A, but when you move it over to the second one, the right whale has letter A and the hippo has letter G. So that's one difference. And when you get all the way through the entire sequence, you're going to put the number of total differences between the hippo, in this case, and the right whale in this box. And that's how it works. Then the way you navigate through this thing is the first thing you're going to come to is it's going to ask you to make a prediction. And it's going to ask you to rank the species as to how close you think they are related to the right whale. And you can see some of these things are actual whales. Maybe they'll be closer than, say, a cow to the right whale, but you're going to make those decisions. So the closest one you would give a number 1, the farthest one you would give a number 7. And those are your predictions. And then the main part of it is you're going to go here. And you'll notice there are live links to all of the animals, and when you click on them, it takes you to them. So I've clicked on rhino, and I will go to slide 7, and I will look at the rhino DNA, and I will compare rhino DNA to right whale for this gene, which, by the way, is the beta-casein gene, which is involved in making milk. So, again, you just are going to use this, and you can use the arrow once you highlight it to just move this down, and you can look for differences. And you can watch this little video clip that I have here where I go through this with a student, and we try to get to the bottom of how many DNA differences there are.
The idea is you're going to go through this and you're going to pick out how many letters are different. So first letter is the same.
Yeah.
Second letter is different, so that's 1.
Okay.
Third letter is the same, and there's another difference, right? So that's 2. Still just 2. Now there's a third one. Fourth one.
I get it now. Okay,
Yeah.
so like
Right.
however many differences, I just put that in like the box.
Right. So if it was, yeah, however many it was, you put your number here. Right.
So, after you go all the way through a particular animal and you've figured out all of its mutations, you're going to put that number, you put that number here just so that you don't forget it. But what you really want to do, I don't remember how many there were here for the rhino, but what you really want to do is you want to click this back to the main chart so you don't get lost. And then you would go to the rhino, and you would put whatever the number of mutations or differences here. And then you're going to go back and you'll pick the next animal, and you'll do that one. You'll go through the cow, and after you go through the cow, you'll go back to the main chart, and you'll enter your number of differences here, etc., until you get all the way through all the rest of the animals, at which point you'll rank them from least differences would be number 1 to most differences, with the right whale would be number 7, the most distantly related animal. And hopefully this gives you some idea of how the number of mutations and the distance between when two species separated from each other, or their ancestors separated from each other, with the largest number of DNA differences happening between things that have been separated for the longest time. Makes sense, right? Which is why we have 99 point something % of our DNA in common with monkeys, with chimpanzees, which we're very closely related to, and only about 50% of our DNA in common with a banana, which we're less closely related to. And so hopefully this helps, folks. Thank you so much for all the hard work that you're doing. I am Mr. Auerbach.